The ship that entered Earth's solar system was broken and dying. It left a trail of smoke and fire across the darkness of space. The hull had holes in it. The engines made terrible sounds. Inside, the last survivors of a dying species held on to hope with everything they had. Ambassador Thylan pressed his thin fingers against the window. His gray skin was pale from hunger and fear. His large black eyes reflected the blue planet ahead. Earth, the home of the humans, the galaxy's youngest species. And now, the only hope left for his people. "We are being hailed," said his pilot, a young Valorian named Keth. "The humans want to know why we are here." Thylan took a deep breath. "Tell them we come in peace. Tell them we come to beg." The human defense station guided them to a landing platform high above the clouds. Thylan had heard stories about humans. They were small compared to most species. They lived short lives. They had only been traveling among the stars for 200 years. Most galactic powers ignored them. They were traders and farmers, nothing more. But Thylan had no other choice. Every other species had turned away. Every great empire had refused to help. The Valorians were alone, and the Dominion was hunting them to extinction. The landing doors opened. Thylan stepped out into the bright light and saw them for the first time. Humans. 2 of them stood waiting. The first was a man with gray hair and a hard face. He wore a uniform covered in metals. His eyes were like stones, revealing nothing. The second was a woman with black hair pulled back tight. She stood straight, like a weapon, ready to be used. "I am Admiral Sung Tae-ho," said the man. "This is Commander Yuna Park. You have entered Earth space without permission. Explain yourself." Thylan fell to his knees. He did not care about dignity anymore. His people were dying. "Please," he said. "I am Ambassador Thylan of the Valorian Union. Or what is left of it. The Dominion has destroyed our worlds. They have killed billions of my people. They put our children in camps. They work us to death in their mines. We have begged every great power for help. All of them refused. You are our last hope." Admiral Sung's face did not change. "The Dominion is the most powerful empire in the galaxy. They have conquered hundreds of species. Why would we help you?" "Because no one else will," Thylan said. "Because my people will disappear forever. Because there are children dying right now as I speak to you." Commander Yuna stepped forward. "We have seen the Dominion's work before. They do not make war. They make slaughter." "Yes," Thylan whispered. "They enjoy it. They call it cleansing. They say weak species must be removed to make room for the strong." Admiral Sung was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke. "Come with us. The council will hear your words." They took Thylan to a great hall deep inside the station. Hundreds of humans sat in rows, watching him. These were the leaders of Earth. The people who made decisions for all of humanity. Thylan felt small under their eyes. He told them everything. He told them about the first Dominion ships arriving at Valoria Prime. He told them about the demands for surrender. He told them about the bombs that fell when his people refused. He described the camps where Valorians were sorted like animals. The strong were sent to work in mines until they died. The weak were killed immediately. The children were taken somewhere else, and no one knew where. When he finished speaking, the hall was silent. Then Admiral Sung stood. "Show them," he said to Commander Yuna. Yuna touched a device on her wrist. A massive screen lit up behind Thylan. On it appeared images that made the humans gasp. Valorian children in cages. Valorian bodies in piles. Valorian cities burning under Dominion fire. A Dominion soldier laughing as he kicked a crying child. Thylan looked away. He had lived through these horrors. He could not watch them again. The hall erupted in noise. Humans shouted at each other. Some looked sick. Others looked angry. One woman was crying. Admiral Sung raised his hand, and silence fell. "We have avoided galactic wars for 200 years, he said. "We built our colonies. We grew our trade. We raised our families in peace. We did this because we know what we are capable of in war. We know the monster that lives inside humanity." He looked at Thylan. "But some things cannot be ignored. Some evils must be answered. A young man stood up from the council. The Dominion has 10,000 warships. They have conquered empires older than human civilization. How can we possibly fight them? Admiral Sung smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. Because they do not know what we are. No one does. Commander Yuna spoke. For 200 years, we have shown the galaxy only what we wanted them to see. Traders, farmers. A young species still learning its place. But we never forgot our history. We never stopped preparing. Preparing for what? Thailand asked. For the day someone would need us to become what we truly are, Admiral Sung said. Earth has shipyards that have never been seen. We have weapons that have never been fired. We have soldiers who have trained their entire lives for a war that might never come. He turned to the council. I call for a vote. Do we answer the Valorians? One by one, hands rose. Thailand counted them with growing hope. More and more. Until finally, every hand in the hall was raised. Admiral Sung looked at Thailand. Ambassador, go to your ship. Send a message to your people. Tell them help is coming. Thank you. Thailand said, tears running down his gray face. Thank you. But please, be careful. The Dominion is cruel beyond measure. They will not fight fair. Commander Yuna stepped beside the Admiral. Her eyes were hard and cold. Good, she said. Neither will we. As Thailand left the hall, he heard Admiral Sung giving orders. His voice was calm but carried the weight of centuries. Wake the sleeping fleets. Recall all soldiers from leave. Send word to the colonies. Earth is going to war. Thailand walked back to his ship in a daze. He had come here expecting to be turned away like everywhere else. Instead, he had witnessed something strange. The humans had not looked scared when they voted for war. They had looked relieved, as if they had been waiting for this moment. As if they had been holding back something terrible for a very long time. Thailand sent the message to his people. Help is coming. Then he sat in his broken ship and wondered what exactly he had just unleashed upon the galaxy. He did not know it yet, but the answer would shake the stars themselves. The news spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. The humans had declared war on the Dominion. Every species heard it. Every empire discussed it. And every single one of them laughed. In the throne room of the Dominion homeworld, Emperor Varn sat on his chair, made from the bones of conquered kings. He was massive, covered in thick scales of dark red. His eyes burned yellow with cruel amusement as his advisors read the human declaration. These tiny creatures dare to challenge us? Varn's voice was like thunder. They have been among the stars for only 200 years. We have ruled for 5,000. They are fools, my emperor, said Grand Admiral Torek. Our fleet will crush them in days. Their worlds will burn. Their children will serve in our mines. Varn laughed, and his court laughed with him. Perhaps we should thank the Valorians. They have given us a new species to break. But while the Dominion laughed, something was happening in human space. Something that would silence that laughter forever. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, Fleet Commander Ji Ho Kang walked through tunnels that had been secret for 150 years. The walls were metal and cold. The air smelled of oil and electricity, and everywhere he looked, he saw warships. Thousands of them, tens of thousands. Ships built in silence and hidden in darkness. Ships designed for only one purpose: destruction. Ji Ho had known about the hidden fleets his entire life. His father had helped build them. His grandfather had drawn the first plans. Generation after generation, humanity had prepared for a war they hoped would never come. Now it had come. Commander, said a young officer running up to him. Admiral Sung is on the communication line. Ji Ho took the device. Admiral, I am at Shipyard 7. How many ships? Sung's voice crackled through the speaker. This yard alone has 3,000 battle cruisers, all fully armed, all ready to fly. There was silence on the line. Then Sung spoke again. Wake them all. Ji Ho. Every ship. Every shipyard. Every weapon we have hidden. It is time. Jiho ended the call and looked at the massive vessels sleeping in their cradles. He touched the cold metal of the nearest ship. It was called the Iron Will. Inside it were weapons that could crack planets, shields that could stop a sun, and engines that could cross the galaxy in weeks. "Today you fly," Jiho whispered. "Today we all fly." Across human space, the same scene repeated. On the dark side of Earth's moon, doors opened that had been sealed for a century. Ships rose from the shadows like ghosts, waking from the dead. In the asteroid belt, hollowed-out rocks split apart to reveal fleets waiting inside. On colony worlds, farmers and merchants put down their tools and picked up weapons they had trained with since childhood. Captain Hana Lee stood on the bridge of the flagship Indomitable. It was the largest ship humanity had ever built, 3 kilometers long, armed with weapons that had no names, only numbers. It had been finished 20 years ago and had never once left its hidden dock, until now. "All systems are ready, Captain," said her first officer. "The crew is at battle stations." Hana looked at the main screen. Around her ship, thousands of other vessels were forming up: destroyers, cruisers, carriers, and support ships. An armada that would make any empire tremble. "Open a channel to all ships," Hana said. "Channel open." She took a breath. "This is Captain Hana Lee of the Indomitable. For 200 years, we have hidden our true strength. We traded when we could have conquered. We smiled when we could have roared. We let the galaxy think we were weak because we knew what our strength could do. But today, a people faces extinction. Children are dying in cages, and we cannot stay hidden anymore." She paused, feeling the weight of her words. "Today, we show the galaxy what humanity really is. Not traders, not farmers. We are the children of warriors who have fought wars since the beginning of time. We are the species that broke itself again and again and always rebuilt stronger. We are fire. We are steel. And may every enemy who sees us coming know fear." Across the fleet, humans cheered. The sound echoed through ships that had waited so long for this moment. The Dominion had spies everywhere. Within hours, reports began flooding into Emperor Varn's throne room. At first, he did not believe them. "Impossible," he growled, reading the numbers. "The humans cannot have this many ships. Our intelligence said they had only 500 vessels." "My emperor," said his spy master, trembling. "They hid them. Underground. In asteroids. In moons. They have been building in secret for over a century." "How many ships?" Varn demanded. The spy master's voice shook. "Our estimates suggest at least 12,000 warships. Perhaps more. We are still receiving reports." For the first time in his long reign, Emperor Varn felt something cold touch his heart. Not fear. Not yet. But something close. "What kind of species hides an entire war fleet?" he asked. No one could answer him. Grand Admiral Torek stepped forward. "It does not matter how many ships they have. They are still young. They have never fought a real war. Our soldiers have conquered 100 worlds. Theirs have conquered none." Varn nodded slowly. "You are right. Numbers mean nothing without experience. Take the Third Fleet to meet them. Destroy them quickly, before they become a real problem." "It will be my pleasure, my emperor." But as Torek left to gather his forces, whispers spread through the Dominion court. Old advisors who had lived long enough to learn caution exchanged worried looks. One ancient minister remembered something he had read long ago. Human history. The wars they had fought on their home planet. The weapons they had invented. The horrors they had done to each other. He found Torek before the Grand Admiral reached his ship. "Be careful," the old minister said. "I have studied the humans. They may be young to the stars, but they are old to war. Very, very old." Torek laughed. "Old wars with spears and arrows. We have star destroyers. They invented the nuclear bomb," the minister said quietly. "Then they used it. On themselves. Twice." Torek paused. What kind of species uses such a weapon on its own people? Overweapon. That is exactly my question, the minister replied. What kind of species indeed? But Torek was proud. He had never lost a battle. He would not fear some upstart species. He took his fleet of 3,000 ships and flew to meet the humans. He expected an easy victory. He expected wrong. Back on the Indomitable, Captain Hana Lee watched her screens as the fleet finished forming up. Admiral Sung's face appeared on her personal display. Captain Lee, I am giving you command of the Vanguard Force. You will be the first to reach Valorian space, the first to face the Dominion. I understand, Admiral. We will not fail. Sung's hard face softened just slightly. I know you will not. Your grandmother flew fighters in the last Earth War. Your mother commanded the first human ship to leave the solar system. This is in your blood, Hana. Show them what that blood can do. The channel closed. Hana turned to her bridge crew. Every face looked back at her with determination. With hunger. With something that had been sleeping inside humanity for 200 years. Set course for Valoria Prime, she said. Maximum speed. The Indomitable's engines roared to life. Around it, thousands of ships followed. The greatest fleet humanity had ever assembled, moved as one, heading toward the stars. Heading toward war, and somewhere in the darkness of space, the Dominion's third fleet flew to meet them, confident of victory. They would learn their mistake soon enough. The stars around Valoria Prime had never seen such a gathering of warships. The Dominion fleet hung in space like a cloud of hungry predators, 3,000 vessels, each one built to kill, each one commanded by soldiers who had never known defeat. Grand Admiral Torek stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Conqueror. His scaled hands rested on the rail as he watched the darkness ahead. Soon the humans would arrive. Soon he would crush them. Admiral, said his sensor officer, we are detecting ships coming out of faster-than-light travel. How many? Still counting, sir. 200, 500, 800. The officer's voice began to shake. 1,000. Still counting. 2,000. Torek felt his jaw tighten. The reports had not been exaggerated. 3,000, 4,000. They are still coming, Admiral. Enough, Torek snapped. I do not care about numbers. We are the Dominion. We do not run. But even as he spoke, he felt the cold touch of doubt. The human fleet finished arriving. Over 5,000 ships faced the Dominion. At their head was the Indomitable, its massive hull gleaming in the light of distant stars. On the Indomitable's bridge, Captain Hana Lee studied the enemy formation. Beside her stood Commander Daewon Choi, leader of the assault squadrons. They have positioned themselves in a standard defensive pattern, Daewon observed. Heavy ships in the center, lighter ones on the wings. It is the same formation they have used for centuries. Because it has always worked for them, Hana replied. They have never faced an enemy who could break it. Can we? Hana allowed herself a small smile. Let us find out. She opened a channel to the entire fleet. All ships. This is Captain Lee. The Dominion thinks they know war. They have bullied and slaughtered their way across the galaxy. Today we teach them what real war looks like. Vanguard squadrons, begin attack run. Main fleet. Prepare to advance on my mark. Commander Daewon rushed to his fighter. Within minutes, thousands of small human attack ships launched from their carriers. They moved in patterns that the Dominion had never seen before. Not straight lines, not simple formations, but chaos that had order hidden within it. The Dominion opened fire. Their weapons filled space with destruction. They expected the human fighters to die in waves like every other enemy before them. Instead, the human ships danced. They twisted and turned through the fire like water flowing around rocks. Their pilots had trained for this their entire lives. They knew every trick, every movement, every way to stay alive when death was everywhere. And then they struck back. Human weapons were different. The galaxy used energy beams that drained slowly and needed time to recharge. Humans used something else. Physical projectiles fired at incredible speeds, missiles that carried explosives powerful enough to crack moons. Weapons designed not just to damage, but to destroy completely. The first Dominion ship exploded, then another, then a dozen more. On the Conqueror, Torek watched in growing horror. What is happening? Our shields should stop those weapons. They are not targeting our shields, his tactical officer replied, voice filled with panic. They are targeting the connections between shield generators. They found our weak points. That is impossible. No enemy has ever. Another explosion shook the ship. We have been hit. Forward shields are failing. Torek gripped his chair. All ships, return fire, destroy them. The Dominion fleet unleashed everything it had. Space became a storm of energy and death. Some human fighters fell. Some human ships burned. But for every human that died, 10 Dominion vessels went dark. Captain Hana watched the battle unfold on her screens. The first phase was going exactly as planned. The Dominion was strong, but they were slow. They relied on their shields and their numbers. They had never faced an enemy who could move faster, think faster, strike faster. Phase 2, she ordered. Main fleet advance. Targeting pattern Delta. The human warships surged forward. They did not fly in neat lines like the Dominion expected. They moved in seemingly random patterns. But each pattern had meaning. Each ship knew exactly where every other ship would be. It was a dance rehearsed a million times in simulation. The Dominion tried to respond. But their old tactics failed. When they concentrated fire on one human ship, 3 others would attack their flank. When they tried to regroup, human missiles would tear through their formations. On the Indomitable's bridge, alarm lights flashed. Captain, 3 Dominion battleships are trying to surround us. Good, Hana said calmly. Let them get close. Then fire the main cannon. The Indomitable had a weapon that had never been used in real combat. A railgun that ran the entire length of the ship. It fired a solid metal slug at speeds approaching light itself. The 3 Dominion battleships closed in, confident they had trapped their prey. The Indomitable fired. The slug hit the lead battleship and went straight through it. The ship did not explode at first. It simply stopped. A perfect hole punched through its center. Then the energy released, and the vessel came apart in a ball of fire that consumed the other 2 ships as well. Across the battle, Dominion crews saw what happened. For the first time in their lives, they felt fear. Real fear. Retreat! Torek finally screamed. All ships retreat. The Dominion fleet turned and ran. Ships that had conquered worlds fled from the humans like frightened animals. They left behind hundreds of wrecked vessels and thousands of dead. Commander Day 1 returned to the Indomitable as the last enemy ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel. His fighter was damaged, his face was tired, but his eyes burned with fierce pride. They ran, he said, hardly believing it. The mighty Dominion ran from us. Hana nodded slowly. This was only one fleet. They have many more. The real war is just beginning, but we won. The first battle, we won. Yes. Hana looked at the stars where the Dominion had fled. We won. Now the galaxy knows. Below them, Valoria Prime still burned. The Dominion occupation forces remained on the surface. But they had seen what happened to their fleet. They had seen the humans arrive like avenging angels. Ambassador Thylan watched from his repaired ship in orbit. He was crying again. But now the tears were different. Not tears of despair, tears of hope. He opened a channel to Captain Lee. Captain, I cannot thank you enough. You have given us a chance. The battle is not over, Ambassador, Hana replied. We have broken their fleet, but your people are still trapped on the planet. What will you do? Hana's voice was cold iron. We will free them. Every single one. She turned to her crew. Contact Admiral Sung. Tell him Valoria Prime is secured in space. Request ground forces for liberation. The message flew across the stars. On Earth, Admiral Sung received it and smiled. It was a dangerous smile. They wanted war, he said to Commander Yuna, who stood beside him. Now they have it. He gave the order. Across human space, soldiers who had trained their whole lives for this moment began loading into dropships. They carried weapons that could level cities. They wore armor that could stop almost anything. And they had something the Dominion soldiers did not have. They had rage, quiet rage, held for centuries, now finally set free. Lieutenant Eun-bi Kim checked her rifle one more time. She was young, only 25, but she had spent 15 years preparing for combat. Every human did. It was part of their culture, their heritage. "Are you ready?" asked the soldier next to her. Eun-bi thought about the images she had seen. The Valorian children in cages. The bodies. The cruelty. "I have been ready my whole life," she answered. The dropships launched, thousands of them, carrying humanity's fury toward the surface of Valoria Prime. The Dominion occupation forces looked up at the sky and saw fire falling toward them. This time, they were right to be afraid. The dropships fell through the atmosphere of Valoria Prime like burning meteors. Inside them, human soldiers sat in silence, checking their weapons one final time. They knew what waited below. They had seen the reports, the images, the evidence of cruelty that made their blood boil. Lieutenant Eun-bi Kim gripped her rifle as her ship shook from atmospheric entry. Around her, 30 soldiers prepared for combat. They were her squad, her family. They had trained together since they were children. 30 seconds to landing, the pilot announced. Eun-bi stood and faced her soldiers. "Remember why we are here. Those camps hold innocent people. Children. We get them out. We stop anyone who tries to hurt them. No mercy for the guards. Total mercy for the prisoners." "Yes, Lieutenant," 30 voices answered as one. The ship hit the ground hard. The doors flew open. Eun-bi was the first one out, her rifle already firing. The Dominion base had been built around one of the largest prison camps on the planet. Thousands of Valorians were held there, worked nearly to death in the mines, starved, beaten, treated like animals. The guards were Dominion soldiers who had grown comfortable in their cruelty. They never expected to fight a real enemy. Today they learned their mistake. Eun-bi's squad moved like shadows through the base. They had studied the layout for days during the journey. Every building, every guard position, every weakness. When a Dominion soldier appeared, he died before he could raise his weapon. Human training was brutal and effective. These soldiers had been shaped since childhood to be perfect warriors. "Squad 2 has reached the main gate." A voice crackled in Eun-bi's ear. "Opening now. Squad 4 is at the guard tower. Dominion commander is dead. Squad 7 has secured the armory." Within 15 minutes, the base was under human control. The Dominion soldiers who surrendered were tied up and left under guard. The ones who fought were killed. There was no middle ground. Eun-bi reached the prison camp entrance. The gate was massive, built to keep the hopeless inside. She looked at her soldiers and nodded. They blew the gate apart. Inside, she saw something that would stay with her forever. Thousands of Valorians, thin as bones, covered in dirt and wounds, staring at her with huge dark eyes. They did not understand what was happening. They had forgotten what hope looked like. Eun-bi lowered her weapon and stepped forward slowly. She did not want to frighten them. A small Valorian child, no more than 5 years old, hid behind an older female. "We are human," Eun-bi said softly. "We have come to take you home." The older Valorian spoke with a broken voice. "Humans? The young species? You came for us?" "Yes, you are free now." The child peeked out from behind her protector. Her gray face was dirty, her eyes too big for her starving body. She looked at Eun-bi's rifle, then at her face. "Are you going to hurt us?" the child whispered. Eun-bi felt her heart crack. She knelt down to the child's level and let her rifle hang at her side. "No, little one. We are going to hurt the people who hurt you. And then we are going to take you somewhere safe." The child stared at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, she stepped forward and touched Eun-bi's armored hand. "Thank you," she said. Eun-bi had to blink back tears. She had trained her whole life for war. No one had trained her for this moment. Across Valoria Prime, the same scene repeated. Camp after camp fell to human forces. Guard after guard met justice. Prisoner after prisoner walked free for the first time in years, but humanity was not finished. Admiral Sung Tae-ho stood on the bridge of the command ship Eternal Flame. Around him, his staff tracked the movements of the entire human fleet. The victory at Valoria Prime was only the beginning. "Admiral," said Commander Yuna Park, "Emperor Varn is requesting communication. He wants to negotiate." Sung raised an eyebrow. "Now he wants to talk? After we killed his best fleet?" "It seems so, sir." Sung considered for a moment, then nodded. "Put him through." The face of Emperor Varn appeared on the main screen. Even through the display, his anger was clear. His yellow eyes burned with hatred. "Human Admiral," Varn spat. "You have made a terrible mistake. That fleet you destroyed was merely our third force. We have 10 more just like it. Withdraw now, and I will allow your species to live as servants rather than slaves." Sung did not react. His face was stone. "Emperor, I have a counter-offer. You dare to make demands of me? I do. Surrender now, release all prisoners, accept punishment for your crimes. Do this, and the Dominion may survive in some form." Quote, Varn laughed. It was an ugly sound. "You are insane. We have ruled this galaxy for 5,000 years. We will rule for 5,000 more." "No," Sung said quietly. "You will not." Big words from a young species. Sung leaned forward. "You showed no mercy to the Valorians. You put children in cages. You killed the innocent for sport. Did you think there would be no price for that? Did you think the universe would let such evil go unanswered? The universe does not care about good and evil. Only strength matters. Then we will show you strength." Sung's voice became ice. "We will come to your worlds. We will break your fleets. We will free every species you have enslaved, and we will do it not because we are strong, but because you are wrong." Varn's face twisted with rage. "You will burn for this. Every human world will burn. You may try." Sung ended the communication. He turned to his staff. "The Emperor has refused surrender. Begin Operation Iron Justice. All fleets advance on Dominion territory." Commander Yuna stepped beside him. "Admiral, they still outnumber us. This will be a long war." "Yes," Sung agreed. "But we have something they do not." "What is that?" "We are fighting because we choose to. Because we saw suffering and could not turn away. They are fighting to keep slaves. That difference matters." The human fleets spread across the galaxy like a storm. World after world fell. The Dominion tried to fight back, but nothing worked. Human tactics were too unpredictable. Human weapons were too powerful. Human soldiers fought with a fury that the Dominion had never faced. Fleet Commander Ji-Ho Kang led the assault on the Dominion shipyards, destroying the ability to build new vessels. Captain Hana Lee broke the defensive line around the Dominion's industrial sector. Lieutenant Eun-bi Kim became famous for her camp liberations, freeing over 200,000 prisoners across a dozen worlds. One by one, the great pillars of the Dominion crumbled. On the homeworld, Emperor Varn watched his empire fall apart. His advisors fled. His generals failed. His once mighty fleets were scattered and broken. "How?" he whispered to the empty throne room. "How can this be happening?" The old minister who had warned Grand Admiral Torek stood in the shadows. He was one of the few who had not abandoned the Emperor. "I told Torek," the minister said softly. "I told him to be careful. The humans are young to the stars, but they are old to war." "What does that mean?" "It means they have fought themselves for thousands of years. They have invented every cruel weapon imaginable. They have seen every horror that war can bring, and they survived it all." The minister stepped forward. "We thought we were teaching them about the darkness of the universe. Instead, we woke something that knows darkness far better than we ever will." Varn stared at his hands. The hands that had signed orders killing billions. The hands that had built an empire on suffering. "What will they do to us?" he asked. "I do not know," the minister replied. "But I suspect we are about to find out." In the distance, alarms began to sound. Human ships had been detected entering the system. They were coming for the throne. The Dominion homeworld had never seen invaders. For 5,000 years, it had been the center of an empire that made galaxies tremble. Its cities were built from the wealth of conquered species. Its monuments celebrated the destruction of entire civilizations. Its people had grown fat and proud, believing themselves untouchable. Now, human ships filled their sky. Admiral Sung Tae-ho stood on the bridge of the eternal flame, looking down at the planet that had caused so much suffering. His fleet surrounded the world completely. There was no escape for anyone below. "Admiral," said Commander Yuna Park, "the planetary defense grid has been destroyed. Emperor Varn is requesting communication. Put him through." The Emperor's face appeared on screen. He looked different now. The arrogance was gone. The cruel fire in his yellow eyes had become something else. Fear. Real, naked fear. "Admiral Sung," Varn said, his voice shaking, "I wish to surrender. The war is over. You have won." Sung studied the face of the being who had ordered the deaths of billions, who had built camps where children starved, who had laughed at the suffering of entire species. "The war is over when we say it is over," Sung replied. "Here are our terms. You will surrender yourself for trial. Every Dominion military leader will face judgment. Every prisoner in every camp will be freed. Every conquered world will be released. Every piece of stolen wealth will be returned. And if I refuse, then we will take your planet apart piece by piece until there is nothing left to refuse." Varn's scales seemed to turn pale. "You would destroy an entire world? You destroyed dozens of worlds. You erased entire species from existence. Did you think there would be no justice?" The Emperor was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, his massive shoulders dropped. "I accept your terms. Wise choice. Prepare to receive our landing parties." The human ships descended through the clouds. Commander Yuna led the team that would take custody of the Emperor. Lieutenant Eunbi Kim was there too, having earned a place at the final victory. They found Varn in his throne room, alone. The chair made from the bones of conquered kings now seemed like a symbol of everything wrong with the galaxy. The Emperor stood before it, stripped of his royal clothing, wearing simple gray. "I ruled for 300 years, Varn said as the humans surrounded him. "I conquered more worlds than any emperor before me. History was supposed to remember me as the greatest ruler the galaxy ever knew." "History will remember you," Commander Yuna said, putting restraints on his wrists. "Just not the way you wanted." They led him out through halls filled with human soldiers, past windows that showed the fleet overhead, past fallen statues and broken symbols of power. The mighty emperor walked like a prisoner because that was exactly what he was. Outside the palace, something unexpected waited. Thousands of Valorians had been transported to witness this moment. Ambassador Thylan stood at their head. Behind him were the survivors of the camps, the ones who had suffered the most. Varn froze when he saw them. The thin gray faces, the huge dark eyes that had seen too much horror, the children who still flinched at loud noises. "These are the people you tried to destroy," Admiral Sung said, walking beside the Emperor. "They wanted to see your fall. Wanted to see your fall. Wanted to see your fall." Thylan stepped forward. His voice was steady, but his eyes were wet. "For years, I begged every power in the galaxy to help us. They all refused. They said the Dominion was too strong. They said we should accept our fate. Then I came to Earth, to the youngest species in the stars, and I begged again." He looked at Sung with profound gratitude. "You answered. You did not have to. You could have stayed safe and let us die. But you chose to fight for strangers. Why?" Sung was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke, not just to Thylan, but to everyone watching. 200 years ago, humanity left Earth and found a galaxy full of great powers. We were small and young. We could have tried to conquer. But we had seen where that leads. Our history is written in blood. We have done terrible things to each other. We know exactly what happens when the strong prey on the weak." He looked at Emperor Varn. So we chose differently. We built, we traded, we smiled. We hid our strength because we feared what we might become if we used it. But when you showed us what you were doing to the Valorians, we understood something important. What? Thylon asked. That sometimes hiding is not peace. Sometimes hiding is just allowing evil to win. And we could not live with ourselves if we let that happen. Emperor Varn was taken away to await his trial. The Valorians watched him go, and for the first time in years, they allowed themselves to believe in the future. But across the galaxy, something strange was happening. News of humanity's victory spread fast. Every species heard the story. The young species, the traders, the farmers. They had crushed the mighty Dominion in less than a year, and they had done it for strangers. The great powers of the galaxy gathered in the Galactic Council chamber. Ambassadors from every major species sat in a circle, discussing what had happened. The humans are dangerous, said the Kathrani ambassador, a tall being with silver fur. They hid an entire war fleet. They could have attacked anyone at any time, but they did not, replied the ambassador from the Valorians. They waited until someone needed them. That makes them more dangerous, not less. What if they decide we are their enemy next? Fear spread through the chamber. The humans had shown power that rivaled the ancient empires, and no one had seen it coming. Admiral Sung received an invitation to address the council. He went alone. Without ships. Without guards. Just one human standing before the rulers of 100 species. You are afraid of us, he said, looking around the chamber. I understand. We hid our strength for centuries. You feel we cannot be trusted. Can you? The Kathrani ambassador challenged. How do we know you will not conquer us like you conquered the Dominion? Sung smiled sadly. You do not know. That is the truth. You only have our word. And our actions. He walked to the center of the chamber. We did not attack the Dominion for territory. We took no worlds for ourselves. We did not attack them for wealth. We claimed nothing but the cost of the war. We attacked them because they were hurting innocent people, and no one else would stop them. Pretty words, another ambassador said. But words are cheap. Yes, they are, Sung agreed. So watch what we do next. Our fleets are returning to human space. We are not occupying the Dominion homeworld. We are helping the Valorians rebuild, and we are going back to being traders and farmers and neighbors. He paused, letting his words sink in. We have shown you what we can do. Now we will show you what we choose to do. We choose peace. We choose cooperation. We choose to be friends rather than masters. If that ever changes, you have every right to fear us. But until that day, we ask only that you give us the same chance you give everyone else. The council was silent. Then, slowly, the Valorian ambassador began to clap. Others joined. Not everyone, but enough. Admiral Sung returned to Earth a hero. But he did not celebrate. He went to visit the memorial that had been built for the humans who died in the war. Thousands of names carved in stone. Commander Yuna found him there, standing alone in the rain. The council sent a message, she said. They are extending full partnership status to humanity. We are equals now. Good, Sung said softly. You should be happy. We won. We saved the Valorians. We changed the galaxy. I am not happy. I am relieved. He touched one of the names on the wall. Every name here is someone who will never go home. Every victory has a price. Would you do it differently? Sung was quiet for a long time. Then he shook his head. No. Some things are worth fighting for. Some evils cannot be ignored. But I hope we never have to do this again. Far across the galaxy, Ambassador Thylon stood on a hill overlooking the rebuilding city on Valoria Prime. Human engineers worked alongside Valorians, building new homes, new hospitals, new schools. The camps were gone, torn down and replaced with parks where children could play without fear. A human woman approached him. Lieutenant Eun-bi Kim, out of armor now, wearing simple clothes. How does it feel? She asked. Being home? Thylin watched the children playing below. It feels like a dream. Like I might wake up and still be in that broken ship, begging for help. You are awake. This is real. Because of you. Because of your people. He turned to face her. Will humanity always be there when others need help? Yunbi thought about the question. I do not know. We are not perfect. We make mistakes. We are sometimes selfish and sometimes cruel. But I believe that when it matters most, we will try to do what is right. That is all anyone can ask, Thylin said. They stood together, watching the sunset paint the sky in colors of gold and purple. Below them, a new world was being born from the ashes of the old, and across the galaxy, in council chambers and throne rooms, in ships and space stations, beings of every species whispered about the humans, the young species, the hidden warriors, the ones who answered a cry for help with fire and steel. The galaxy had shuddered at their power. Now it would learn to respect their hearts.